G'day, I'm Paul. Every time I see you guys, we're always talking about SUVs, and one in particular that I've been excited to drive is the new Mitsubishi Outlander because it's always been a value proposition and it now shares a platform with the all-new X-Trail. Here it is here. It is the new Mitsubishi Outlander. It's just lobbed here in Australia. This competes with things like the Hyundai Tucson, the Toyota RAV4, and the new Kia Sportage, just as an example. This one right here is the top specification Exceed model, priced at a little under $50,000, but if that's too expensive, the entire range starts off at just under 35 grand. Today we're going to do a detailed review of this car. If you do want to skip ahead to other parts of the review, you can use the time codes up on the screen there, or if you're on YouTube, you can use the chapters down there. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon. That way you're going to find out every single time we drive an outlandish new car. Now, it's not outlandish, that's just my dad joke for the day. You can get 7 external colours for the Outlander. All but white is an additional $740 or $940, depending on whether it's a premium or colour or whatever they describe it as. Now, what do you reckon about the design? Mitsubishi, they've been kind of a little different when you think about things like the Pajero Sport and the Triton in terms of giving it a bold design that doesn't look too cheesy. And I think this incredibly stands out in traffic. So especially here with the red and all of these chrome highlights, I think it just gives this a lot of character and it really suits the demeanor of what they're trying to do here with an SUV. So that's my opinion though. Let me know in the comments section. Do you think the design is good? So up the top here, you've got this blanked out piano black section. It's not open, so those vents don't really do anything. The actual cooling vents are down here and then a little further down. And they've kind of neatly split up the colours. So you've got the body colour, the piano black stuff, and then as you move your way down, it goes to this sort of silver section down the bottom. Radar just here, camera there as well. Down here, you've got an interesting headlight cluster. So similar to what Hyundai's done, you've got daytime running lights and indicator up the top. You've got headlights here. They're an LED setup and bi-LED setup, so they actually work quite well at night. You get decent projection. LED fog lights as well. And if we come around to the side here, down here we've got a set of 20-inch alloy wheels. They seem to be getting bigger and bigger on SUVs. The design, so you've got a piano black finish on the inside, and have a look at this. It's a machined finish on the outside. I think one of the commenters has finally corrected me on how to describe this. So machined finish, and I really like the look of these. They suit the car because you've got a similar element to the front there where you've got a kind of chrome finish. So really gives this a nice character, especially on the top end. Lowish profile tyres. It's a 45 profile, so it should mean that they ride well. Being an SUV, you've got protected wheel arches just there. What we're down here, ground clearance of 210 millimeters. It's not a massive amount and you're not really going to be doing any off-roading, but when we do go for a drive later on, I'll run you through some of the off-road modes that the car does have. Up here, you've got an indicator built into that wing mirror with a camera on the side. I like that they break up these colors here with the black section through the center there, so it's a piano black finish. You've got a big panoramic sunroof there, roof rails, you've got privacy glass, and then whip around to the back with me. There's a shark fin aerial and LED tail lights. Again, this gives the car a bit of a unique character at night time. It really makes it stand out nicely. But I have a feeling they are incandescent globes. So I just don't get why they do that. If you're going to go to the effort of putting LED everywhere else, why would you then put an incandescent globe in that you need to replace more often? Strange. Down here you've got Exceed, which is the model grade. Outlander on the other side. You've got the silver garnish down here with the diffuser. Then in terms of towing, you've got 1,600 kilograms of braked towing capacity. So it's not a huge amount, but you're probably not going to be towing anything here, given it is a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. Now, let me know what you reckon in the comments section below. Is this something that you would buy with the new design, and given it now shares a platform with the Nissan X-Trail? Let me know what you reckon. We're inside the Outlander. All right, let's start off with the key first. Here it is. So you've got the Mitsubishi logo, lock, unlock, boot, and then nothing on the back. Does that look like a Nissan key? That's because it is. It's a proximity sensing key, so you leave that in your pocket, then once you're inside, you've got a start stop button just here. So this looks completely different to the last Outlander, and that is very good news for everyone involved. I just reckon this is a huge step forward for Mitsubishi. This car has always been a value proposition, and it still is a value proposition when you look at the pricing and what you get. It's one of the few 7-seaters on the market, but now it actually feels like it is a whole lot more premium than the price suggests. So you've got a big infotainment system up the top there. And as you cascade down, you've got just simplicity. There's no sort of button overload. You've got a big screen ahead of the driver. So it really is nicely laid out. In terms of the materials, so soft touch rubber along the top there. You've got this stitched, I'll call it leather, but it's probably not, material along the dashboard here. And then it flows all the way down to these softer edges where you can rest your knee while you're driving. You'll also notice along the doors this diamond quilted stitching, also soft to the touch. Yeah, all of this just adds to the premiumness of the cabin, even over to the seats. It's got that same finish on it, and they just look really quite high end. Now, in terms of your touch points, this center armrest is nice and soft, and so is the door. How soft is it? Well, we've got our gyrometer. We've tested the main surfaces in this cabin. If you want to see how this car compares to others, have a look at the link in the description. Build quality. It doesn't feel great. That's very wonky there. This stuff is okay, but even that's a bit sort of not amazing either. So yeah, look, let's see how this lasts over time. And what about your door? Open, close. Yeah, it sounds okay. It's not too bad. Let's talk about infotainment. That's pretty important when it comes to a car like this. It's going to be transporting family and all that kind of stuff. So being a Nissan shared platform now, that means they get a Nissan infotainment system. So it is a 9-inch infotainment screen. You've got shortcut buttons down the bottom. It's a touch screen, and then you have knobs for volume and also for zooming in and zooming out on the maps and tuning and that kind of thing. So it's a high resolution screen, which is a great point. You can see here that it's fairly quick. It's not very laggy at all, which is good news. One of the things I love here is the smartphone mirroring technology. So you have wireless Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto. I'll show you Apple CarPlay to start with. So really sharp screen there and full screen integration. It's actually, yeah, look, it's quick, but could be quicker. It's a tiny bit laggy as you sort of move through those screens. I'll show you what Android Auto looks like. So again, full screen integration. Let's see how that works. That's actually a little bit quicker than Apple CarPlay, which is good. Oh, by the way, if you've seen some of our other videos, I have complained about Android Auto not working, and there might be in a couple of videos coming up, depending on the order of these. It was actually my fault. Turns out the phone was out of data, and Android Auto doesn't start unless you have data on your phone. So it wasn't Android Auto's fault, it was my fault. And in terms of audio, you have AM, FM, DAB plus digital radio, and that's all plumbed through a 10-speaker Bose branded sound system. It's a great sound system. It's got plenty of punch to it, and for what is a family-friendly SUV, I think is a pretty good standard feature. Ahead of the driver, you also have a 12.3-inch display. This is really cool because it is very high resolution. It's like one of the highest resolution screens I've seen used in a car before, which is pretty cool. You can change the views. So there's one view that you have there. You can switch it over to another view as well. You've got all of your menus that appear in the center there, so you can customize exactly what you want in the center there while you're driving. So really cool setup, and again, really nice to see stuff like this now becoming standard in what are just run-of-the-mill consumer SUVs. Now, what about your safety technology? So you've got autonomous emergency braking, you have front and rear AEB, so it'll stop even if you're in reverse and about to hit something. You have an auto-dimming rear vision mirror, you have a blind spot monitor built into the wing mirror, you have a lane departure warning and a lane keeping assistant. It's not the type that will sort of pull at the wheel, it just pulses the brakes to bring you back into line. You've got radar cruise control, rear cross traffic alert, and then you also have front and rear parking sensors and a 360-degree camera. I'll show you what that looks like. That is very impressive. That is a sharp screen. So you got your top-down view. You then have a split screen with the reverse view. One more hit of that, you can get the side view to see what the wheels are doing. These lines move with the car as well. And then one more push gives you the wide angle views. So really nice setup there, and it's good to see a big advancement in terms of parking technology. And now practicality, and we'll start with your connectivity options. So down the bottom here, you have one USB-C port, one USB-A port, a 12-volt outlet. You've got a wireless phone charger, so that means you can grab your phone, whack it down the bottom there, and that can charge. In terms of storing your phone, pop it down there, or you can fit it in the cup holders. There's sort of plenty of options for storage. And what about your bottle storage? Well, we'll start with our coffee cup first. That slides into here without any problems. I was able to retrieve that this morning without spilling it everywhere. Bottles fits into there without any problems. You've got teeth there to hold it in. We've also got bottle storage in the doors. Let's see if it also fits our big bottle. Easy. I love that. They've actually thought about this and the practicality that comes with having a family vehicle. So it's good to see that you can actually put big bottles like that inside the doors. You've got a center console here. It's not the biggest in the world, but it is sort of deep enough. Got our glove box down here. Looks not the biggest in the world because by the time you put your manual and stuff in there, there really isn't a great deal of room. The other thing that I find so painful in Nissan products is just over here is your fuse box. And when we were running the CarExpert Experience Center, we had issues where I had to take the horn and the starter fuse out of the cars to prevent people from switching them on. And the fuse box is there, plus there was another one under there as well, and you had to literally take the glove box out to get to it. So it's a really frustrating location for some of that stuff, and it looks like they've done the same thing again. So I don't know why it isn't just under the bonnet or over here on this side where the driver's side is, as opposed to buried in there. You've got storage down the sides here on both the driver and front passenger side, and finally a sunglasses holder up the top. Comfort features equally as important. So down the front here, you have dual zone automatic climate control, but you also have the ability to change your heating and cooling for the third zone here too. You've got heated seats. The seats themselves up the front here, they're both electrically adjustable. Both have memory as well. So you can go forwards, backwards. You can tilt the backrest forwards, backwards. You can lift the seat front and back, and you also have a rear lumbar support as well. The seats themselves are comfortable. Now, the one thing I noticed is there is a fair bit of clearance either side to fit you in. So if you are an enjoyer of KFC like I am, you'll find the seats pretty good and hugging around you. Then the steering wheel as well, it has tilt and reach adjustment. Then in terms of our reach test, I found all of this easy to reach while I'm driving, even on the extremities of the screen there. So really good setup in terms of being able to grab everything while you're trying to concentrate on the road. Okay, we're in the second row of the Outlander. Let's start off with room. So knee room, really good. Toe room is pretty good. Headroom is good as well. You will notice though with this big panoramic sunroof here that it kind of tapers in. So you do have room back here, but if you go forward, your head kind of touches the roof there. So just something worth keeping in mind. Other creature comforts, you have mat pockets in the back of the seats, plus device holders up the top here. You've got air vents. This is where you can control your third zone of climate control. Down here, you've got USB-C and a USB-A connector. Now, the center armrest is interesting because this is a 40-20-40 split folding seat. So you can see the seats have that same sort of finish they do at the front there. But instead of having an armrest that folds down, you actually need to fold the seat portion down, and then that exposes your bottle holders just there. And pop that back up. Now, this is cool. This bottle fits inside the door without any dramas, but you can also fit our Whopper bottle inside the door too. So you really do have a bit of versatility there. And then if you want a little bit more privacy, you can lift that up, and that will mean that no one can see inside. Now, one other thing I thought we'd do as well, given I'm a new dad now, I find it interesting about baby seats and how they fit in different cars. So let me know if you want me to do like a little segment in here on baby seats. And if so, what do you want to know about it? Do you want to know how easy it is to load a kid in? Do you want to know how easy it is to fit a baby seat? How much room you have at the front when you move the passenger seat? Let me know in the comments section. This is some vision of my baby seat in here at the moment to give you an idea of what it looks like. But keen for your feedback. Let me know and we will build a segment based off exactly what you guys want to see. Now, this is normally where I'd show you the third row and what it looks like in there, but before I do, this door, I like the fact that the aperture is almost 90 degrees. It means getting things in and out of here, like kids and stuff like that, is super straightforward. The thing I don't like though, there's this plastic molding on all the doors, and I keep kicking it every time I get in and out of the car, and I think that is going to break off with kids sort of running into and out of the car. So yeah, just something to keep an eye on. Now, the third row, the reason I'm not actually going to climb in here, let me show you. Mitsubishi advertises this as an occasional third row, which means it's not built for adults, it is strictly built for kids. But I'll show you how it works. The second row slides forwards and backwards to afford you more leg room in the third row. And then to put the third row into place, you just pull these up, and then beneath the cargo floor over there, you have the headrests where they sort of tuck away. So this is perfect when it comes to, I don't know, if you're got your kids' friends or something like that need a lift somewhere, you can legally carry 2 extra passengers if you need to. And I'm sure you could fit an adult very uncomfortably in there if you needed to, but that's what it's there for, occasional use. You've got cup holders on the side here, and that's pretty much it. Let's have a look at the boot and we'll see how much space is available. Before I show you the boot, I'll show you the powered tailgate. Pretty fast. Look at that. Absolutely on a move, so that is good. I hate it when they're slow because no one has time to wait for a powered tailgate. So behind your third row, you have just under 200 litres of cargo space available. So not a huge amount. I'll show you what it's like with the bags in there in just a sec, but this is where you'll find those headrests that I was talking about. So it's great to see that they slot away and just out of sight, so you don't need to stress about them too much. You've also got a jack there as well. 12 volts over here. Try popping our bags in. So laptop bag. Now let's see if that actually fits in. I reckon it'll be tight, but no, doesn't quite fit, which is a shame. It'd be perfect if it fit a mid-sized suitcase. Now, if you drop the third row, I'm pulling that, creates a flat floor, and that gives you a little under 500 litres of cargo space, and that's a much more usable space. You've got storage either sides as well. That fits in without any dramas. But if you do want to expand the space even further, we'll get rid of our bags. We can actually increase this just by pulling these levers here. So that drops out of the way, drop that one out of the way as well. That expands the space to just under 1,500 litres. We've hit the road in the Outlander. Now, before I run you through the engine specs, I just want to put some of this into context. This is now longer, wider, taller, and it sits on a bigger wheelbase as well. So in every single dimension, this has become a much bigger vehicle. And powering this now is a naturally aspirated 2.5 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine. It produces 135 kilowatts of power and 245 Newton meters of torque. Now that may not sound like a whole lot of power and torque, and that's because it kind of isn't. You'll notice here, if I give it a punch, makes a lot of noise, and initially it feels like it's going to be quick, and then it really just hits a wall and tapers off. So I don't know, you've got to take into account that this is a much bigger vehicle now, and most of its competitors now offer turbocharging or a diesel engine with a turbocharger. There really isn't very much naturally aspirated activity in the segment, especially at the top end of the price bracket. And I think it is just a little bit disappointing they didn't put a bit more effort into this powertrain package, because I think it really could come alive with a turbocharged 4-cylinder under the bonnet. And that's all sent through a continuously variable transmission. What they've tried to do is make it feel like a CVT at low speeds, but then at higher speeds it has stepped gears. So right now, if I punch the throttle, you can see with the speedo it's acting like a CVT, but as it reaches the end of its rev band, it starts grabbing another gear. So it's just a way of making this feel like much more of a normal car with a regular gearbox. Let's talk fuel economy. So Mitsubishi claims an average fuel economy of 8.1 litres per 100 k's. We're currently sitting on 9, so near enough that figure. We've been doing a little bit of sort of sporty driving as well, so pretty happy with that fuel economy. Let's talk drive modes. So you only have a couple really to choose from here for on-road. You've got Eco, Normal and Tarmac, and that changes the screen here ahead of the driver. And then your off-road kind of modes are gravel, snow and mud. So that's going to tailor the stability control to basically manage the expectations of the system and also prevent stability control from intervening too much and stopping progression over things like muddy terrain or gravel roads. Now let's slot it into Tarmac. This is our sporty mode with the more stepped gears. We'll lob it through this corner. Look, it's okay, it's not terrible. It has a bit of body roll there because of the suspension softness, but it does feel slightly more engaging when it is in this Tarmac mode. It's a bit more responsive, and the steering feels like it is slightly heavier as well. Another thing I should point out here as well, there is a cool feature here. It is super active wheel control. Sounds amazing. So we noticed this in the Eclipse Cross PHEV. You can see the little display there. When you get it into a corner, you punch the throttle and turn. What it actually does is it starts braking individual wheels to feel, well, I guess to make it feel sportier behind the wheel. It makes it feel like it's tucking in around the corner, and it is pretty effective. I noticed with the Eclipse Cross that it really just makes it a whole lot more dynamic, and it's the same story here. As long as you've got that throttle applied and you've got turn in, and you're sort of powering through the corner, it really just makes it feel a whole lot sportier than a lot of other cars in this segment. And in saying that, this is an all-wheel drive, but it's not one of those on-demand ones that feels like it only activates the rear axle when there is a slip detector at the front. This super active wheel control system actually makes it feel like it's actually doing something a whole lot more than just waiting for the front axle to lose traction. Mitsubishi doesn't have an official 0 to 100 time for the Outlander, but we've put it up against our stopwatch, and this is how it went. Now, what's it like in terms of the ride? So Mitsubishi's gone for a pretty soft setup, and you'll notice when you hit bumps and that kind of thing, it soaks them up really nicely, but it's out here on country roads where you get undulations where it really feels like it has a lot of hang time in the air, and it can sort of feel a little nauseating at times, and you're going to be noticing that a whole lot more when you have a full vehicle. It really sort of exacerbates that softness. So it is good for driving in and around the city, but if you are doing a lot of country driving, you will notice that it becomes just a little bit too much. It could be just a touch firmer. One of the things that I'm noticing going off a fair bit here is the lane departure system. So it actually brakes the car and swings it back into the lane, which is quite interesting. Normally that's reserved for cars with hydraulic power assistance on the steering, not EPAS setups like this. But it is, I don't know, it's an interesting system. I think if you did doze off and were about to go off the road, this pulsing you back into the lane is actually quite effective. Now, what about visibility? So it's interesting, down the front there, I can see a lot of the bonnet, but this car feels huge behind the wheel, and I don't know what it is, because most other SUVs are around this size in this segment, but this feels considerably bigger. And I don't know whether it's because I'm sitting really low, but yeah, it just feels sizable. It's not a bad thing, it's just something that I have noticed. And the other thing I did notice as well is that visibility out the back there, it's okay on the A pillar and the B pillar, but about the C pillar, it can be a little bit tricky to see. So it's just something to keep in mind. Visibility out the back window is fine. That envelope's pretty big. The wing mirrors are also pretty big as well, with a blind spot monitor built into the outer edge of them. Finally, what's it like with low speed stuff? So turning circle comes in at around 11 meters, which is pretty good for an all-wheel drive, although you will have to do the occasional 3-point turn every now and then. And the other thing as well is the steering is really nice and light for low speed maneuvers. So that's things like parking and that kind of thing. It's just really easy to place the car and you know, do all the steering stuff. Okay, so what's the verdict on the Mitsubishi Outlander? I tell you what, this is completely chalk and cheese compared to the last one. The last one, I don't know, it was a good value proposition and you kind of expected it to be not very good because of the amount that you paid. Whereas this takes the game forward, not only for Mitsubishi, but for the segment in general. It is a much bigger SUV now, so you're getting more room inside. And this feels really nice and premium as well, so it feels like it justifies the price tag. It is let down though in a couple of areas, such as that engine. I just think they really need to strap a turbocharger onto that thing, or perhaps offer a diesel of some sort. A lot of this is going to be addressed when the PHEV arrives, that's the plug-in hybrid, but I suspect that's going to command another 10 or 15 grand on top of this, so we'll be getting a little bit expensive there. So I don't know, take one for a test drive, see what you think about the engine, but ultimately I think if it is loaded full of passengers and your things on a holiday trip, it could feel just a little bit underdone in terms of how much poke it has behind the wheel. Now let me know in the comment section below, have you bought an Outlander, or have you been waiting for this new one to arrive before you have a look at the rest of the competitors in the segment? If you did enjoy this video, please make sure you like it and share it with your mates, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you can find out every single time we drive something like this. But until next time, drive safely.